Yeah, that's right. Yeah, when I get poison ivy, it's bad. Yeah.
2 weeks in Cabo. Better come back with some fishing pictures.
Probably already online.
Did you guys grow up together? John? Yeah.
No, John's a little younger than me, and John, what happened? Their youngest son, Justin, and my daughter they've been best friends since like seventh grade. Good friends, and then when Corey.
We'll call this, what is it today?
10th of June.
June 10th meeting of the Finance Committee to order. Mr. Miracle, I'll start off with you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. A few things to talk about this evening. As you know, we've been working past few weeks on the tax budget, and we had submitted that to Auditor State last week. Well, I just got a reply yesterday, so there's only one question, and it's a minor question. But I thought let's just talk about that tonight, and then we can put the tax budget on for the first reading on the 24th. So what had happened, Anna Mary had sent back on Fund 2084, 2085, and 4037. She just wants us to verify that those are categorized correctly, and she wants me to pull the original resolution when they were passed just to verify that. So I thought that was something that I didn't want to bring it tonight, then we vote on it and find out that we have to change the category, and then we start all over again. So it's a minor request. I hope to have that done tomorrow, the next day, and then we will bring the tax budget to everyone on the 24th, and also that evening, we will have the public hearing for the tax budget, which is also required by law. So, but we had to get this meeting out. So it was kind of one of those things. We had to do it, and I was hoping that we were 100% clean. But that was the only issue that the Auditor State brought
Well,
up.
that's good. That's great.
I think so.
I mean, that's probably an easy thing to find.
Yep.
Because those are probably fairly old resolutions.
Yeah, I think, I know 4037 is, 2084 and 2085, I think only go back about 4 or 5 years. We should be able to verify that pretty quickly, and then I will let you know this week that I've done that. But I just want to thank, Mr. Girton, Mrs. Franzen, Mr. Moore. This was very smooth for us to do this together, and we worked in a collaborative effort. I appreciate your input and your support, and this is many other things that we can do this type of thing with as well. So and so we've had plenty of time now to kind of you kind of see where we started and how we got to where we were. So the last thing I want to do is bring something here to you and say, I need 3 readings on this tonight, and you haven't even laid eyes on it. So, that's not going to happen. So I feel very good about that. So that's kind of where we are with the tax budget right now. So thank you all again for that. I think that was kind of a case in how to work together on something. So And as, just for everyone watching, we also had Mr. Bradley Schwartz from the Fiscal Recovery Plan. My goal is to include him in more of these types of things, and so that when he goes to these FRP meetings, he can say, hey, I was there every time we met and went over this. So so that's kind of everything I had with the tax budget, unless we had any other questions you wanted to bring up about that, Mr. Gurdon.
Not yet. I will run over these numbers. Well, let's go ahead and run over.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ma
I
actually
think
asked
Mr. Moore's
something
got
just
questions.
about the sheet here, or
Tax budget sheet.
you said three different. One was 2084. I didn't catch the other two.
2084, 2085, and 4037, her reply, which I can forward that to you, was that they wanted to just, for us to verify that they were categorized correctly, and to review the resolution when they were passed.
And is that are those like special revenue funds within the general fund?
I think those were TIF funds, and I should have brought that email with me, forgive
Yeah.
me. But,
Oh, it's okay, and I'm sorry, I can log in.
I
and
can
look.
see it. I
Yeah.
can just let you know. So 2084 is the Cornerstone TIF School Fund.
Okay, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah. So that's
So it's on the like CERT P12 tab.
Yeah.
Is so there's 2 zeros shown, and then on 4037 it shows 969,000 from Linden Point. So
right.
okay. So is there besides just going back and finding the specific
That's it.
balls in your court, there's nothing we
Yes.
can be helpful
Yep.
with in that regard?
No, sir. That hopefully take me just a day or two to track them down, and then if they're already where they're supposed to be, then we're good, and if not, we can move them. But very short period of time, we'll have that, and then I'll let you know this week when that's done, and say, hey, this is going to be on there, and we're good to go.
Do you have any other questions on that matter?
No.
Well, I'll save this to the end because I want to make sure we get through the other business first.
Sure, sure.
I just wanted to talk about these on the record. That's all.
Okay, sure. Would you like me to just kind of go down the list of a couple other things I wanted
Yeah.
to talk about tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, we talked about the tax budget. Wanted to bring the Finance Committee up to speed. I did send you an email. Moving forward, starting this week, we will have a new email address. It's accounting@norwoodohio.gov. All invoices from all of our vendors will be submitted to that. Mary Yeager, Sasha Gabbard, and myself will have access to that. And what I'm going to do is start emailing our vendors individually. Then I'm creating a group email for all of our vendors. And kind of the thought process that I had was we run checks Mondays and Thursdays. So I'm just going to grab who we sent checks to on Mondays and Thursdays and forward the email to them, notifying them that we would like, moving forward, to them to send that to that email address. And then eventually we'll get to that where we've gotten everyone, and then we're going to put it on our website as well, so that if anyone looks on there, they can see that moving forward. So I think that's something that we have been working on a little bit, trying to what procedurally how I wanted to do that. Also, that's something on the report on accounting methods that I think I've discussed with Anna Mary. We have a little better control over the invoices because, as you know, currently they are mailed to various department heads and so forth. And so we just want to make sure that we're getting all the invoices, and then that we review them, and then we will forward those to the appropriate person. They will send their approval back, make sure we have the correct PO, correct fund, and it's a nice double check that we have there. So that's something that I'm going to push pretty hard here in the next few weeks with our vendors. So we're rolling that out this week.
And Mr. Miracle?
Yes, sir.
So basically the user experience on that is that every outside vendor that we do business with, that would be the delivery point, if you will, and then you guys would route things and then come back to you for execution. And so there's some, let's say, burden on the different department heads to make sure that they're communicating that to vendors.
Correct.
That like this is our process. There's a little bit of retraining our partners.
Right. And as we roll this out, well, actually last week during the department head meeting last Thursday, Mary rolled it out to all the department heads and kind of explained, why we're doing this and this is what we're going to be doing. So, and answered any questions that they had.
It makes a lot of sense to have a centralized,
Yeah.
streamlined or stream for all invoices to come in.
Yeah, at Monty, we have ap@monty-inc.com, and we get thousands a month, and they all go through there, and you're matching up the PO. It's kind of a streamlined process. We even use AI at Monty to match the invoice to the purchase order, and if they don't match, it kicks them out. And then we review those in a weekly purchase price variance meeting. So, not saying we're not going to go try to do that here, but it is kind of maybe something to look down the road a little bit. But it is feasible. We're doing it right now. We've been doing it for a while. Additionally, I'm happy to report P-card manual is complete. Mary has rolled that out again to the department heads, and they are reading that and reviewing that this week. Our intention is to have that to council for the first reading on the 24th. So we're just going to, that'll be whatever, 6 weeks or whatever it takes. So we're not going to ask for all 3 readings or anything like that. I want you to review that. And because if you remember, I talked about this a little bit with Republic Bank. They have a new P card coming out in early August. So my thought was we have the first reading on the 24th. We have the second reading July the 8th. And then we will have the final reading, the first meeting in August. And that's when their P card procedure starts. So we've kind of lined that up, works out pretty nicely. So that's going to help a lot of our department heads as well to have that card for maybe some of these small purchases. I've talked to Sasha, and she's like, sometimes she's got to write a check for $20 or $25. It's just so I think this will be much more efficient for us as well. So we're excited, and I have to say I think our department heads are excited as well.
Good.
To help that process. So
Sounds like another streamlined kind of idea.
Yeah. Another big one that we want to check off there as well. And then also, what I'd like to do in our monthly finance committee meeting when we meet regularly scheduled, I want to send to you the report on accounting methods, and each month I want us to go over that, to spend a little time on that. And what I want to do is highlight the ones that we feel are completed, that we've taken care of and kind of checked off, and then the ones that we still need some work on, because as you know, there's 34 of them on there. Some of them are auditors, some are treasurers, some are safety service directors, some are the mayor, some are IT. There's a myriad of comments on there, and some of them are, I think we even have it listed as maybe 5 or 6 of us. It covers everybody. It covers all the bases, so we have to work on that. And so that's something that really going to start putting a big focus on, and who do we have to, who needs some help, how can we give them support, and then the items that we are working on to kind of let you know what the working process is and what we need to do to get those completed. So that's, we'd like to do that. And then as you know, monthly, you get the end of month reports. Sasha compiles those, and then I email those out. And what I'd like to do, rather than just emailing it to you, is that for you to kind of review those, and then when we meet at our regular scheduled finance committee meeting, let's just go over those reports. We don't have to go in great detail, but let's just cover any questions and maybe just give a broad overview, and then we can discuss if there's any anomalies that are there that maybe stick out to us. I think that'd be important for the 5 of us to, well, and Mary as well, so the 6 of us to kind of take a look at. So if we could do that, have that as a standing item on our agenda. And let's see, I think that I've covered everything I wanted to cover this evening.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any questions from Mr. Miracle about purchasing the P card in the monthly reports?
I look forward to seeing it rolled out, and I know Mary's been working on it, so I'll be happy to see it when she's done.
Yeah, I think it's 17 to 18 pages. It's very Mary-esque, if that's a word, very detailed, and I think anxious for you guys to kind of lay eyes on it a little bit. So there's not any room for misinterpretation on there. So feel very strongly this is going to be a good policy moving forward.
Thank you, Mr. Miracle.
You're welcome.
Anything else that you want to bring to the table?
No, I think that's everything I had for this evening, Mr. Perry.
Okay. Glad we got the tax budget ready to go to the next council meeting. And if we recall, we talked about potentially having one read on the 24th, and then the idea of having 2 readings on the next meeting.
Yeah, I think it's the 8th, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that, yeah, the 10th or the 8th of July.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so then that should be passed and ready to roll then.
Yes.
Mr. Bonzo, hello, sir. Actually, it's helpful if you're here. Might put you to work.
Pounce on him.
I'm here for it.
This is just. So Mr. Miracle gave us the tax budget for 2025.
Yes.
And I wanted to try to process it myself, and I'm a visual person. So I just wanted to bring this up also for the common good for people outside. If you look at the second slide, total local taxes, that comes from the estimated tax budget. So it looks like we had a huge drastic increase from 23 to 24. And we're expected, Mr. Wagers talked about last meeting, that we're actually have a surplus of $1.4 million if we trend, if our trends are corrected. So it looks like our local taxes are increasing. And just so I can remember, Mr. Bonzo, what's the contribution to that increase?
Oh, yes. So just the amount of earnings taxes that we've generated, or that's been collected, I guess I'd say, in the city has gone up faster than estimates. So some of that can be, there's a couple of different things that can attribute to that. But yeah, I think that's really that. I mean, I'm comfortable with the tax budget being higher than the FRP. We had to give those estimates back in September of last year. So having an extra 9 months of knowledge about what's going to happen in 25, to me, or is that current, or 26? Is it 26 that the tax budget's for? Yeah, 20, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I just, yeah, I think that it makes sense that why the estimates would be about $500,000 more, that they're looking at. So to me, that's not a huge cause for concern just because we have more information because it's 9 months later than where we were.
When the next slide is total local taxes, I put that out in a pie chart just to show us that we get a small amount of our budget comes from property taxes. And so anytime we talk about raising property taxes for the county or the state or whatever, that's not a huge contributor to our budget. I mean, it's still 13% of our revenue budget, But it's still a much smaller compared to municipal taxes.
Yeah, yeah. And just a note on that, you'll probably know about this, but one component of our property taxes is we have a 5-year levy that we've renewed probably 6 or 7 times since the GM days. It's called it actually is called like an emergency levy on the title. We can't change the title if we just keep renewing it, right? So either this year or next year, if it's going to get renewed, it'll have to get. I think we have until next year, but it'll have to get put on the ballot, or a replacement levy could get put on the ballot for something more targeted. But that would take away. Just know that $3 million whatever dollar to keep that $3 million stable, there will have to be a levy renewal. Either I think we have until next year to do it, but just wanted to make sure that's kind of in your all's thinking
It's
about
good
that.
to think about for next year.
Yeah, that's, thank you for bringing that kind of stuff up, because that's helpful.
But no, that's great. Your numbers are great.
Also, I realized my printer really screwed up mine. I've got this in a digital version if you guys want it, but it all comes out of the tax budget and.
Yeah, so it's just the
yeah.
numbers, but the
Yeah.
same numbers that we have, but in a visual format, which I enjoy too, because
Yeah, this is nice. This is very nice.
knowing that most of it is municipal income tax and seeing it right there is much
Right.
nicer.
Yeah.
I think for most people, it's an easy visual shorthand.
Let's see, I also wanted to point it out, if you look on the revenues pie chart, we get a tiny amount of money from, intergovernmental things, which the tax budget talks about as things like grants and, mostly grants.
Local government fund from Ohio,
Yes.
yeah.
Then we get 9% of our revenues from things we charge, like services to, I think one of the biggest ones is our fire EMS charge that we get back. Mr. Bonzel, where does our bank account interest come from? Our investments?
Yeah.
Where is that in this chart, if you can guess?
I mean, I'll look on the tax budget. I would assume it comes out of the charges, permits, fines, et cetera. And I think, you'll probably already acknowledge this. I think there's that first and third for the dollar amount on the table, the third column.
Oh, yeah, I saw
Are
it.
flipped.
They're just flipped.
Yeah, you'll probably saw that already. No, I mean, this is still, don't get me wrong, the pie chart's right. Everything's right except just the numbers are flipped. But it's a great thing, so don't.
No, thank you. I'll fix that.
So yeah, so it's like 3 million something. I'm almost certain and I'll look at Mary's thing, but that the interest is in that bucket there.
Okay, I thought that was the case, and I feel just proud of myself that I was on target.
Yeah, no, you're great. Yeah, no,
We're learning. We're all learning.
I super appreciate that. This is very cool that you made this up. Thank you for that.
Let's see. I don't know if you can read these numbers on the next slide, but if we move over to the projections, what I really wanted to show this for was that, we are coming into budget season as we try to work on the FRP from here moving forward. If council wants to do anything like, Mr. Bonzo and I were just chatting one day, if council wants to do anything like a 2-day week arborist, this is now the time to be brainstorming what we want to do with our.
And what we can afford.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what I show on this over here, and I hope I have this right. Let's see, the top line is our expenditures, and the bottom line is our unencumbered expenses from the FRP. And so what it looks like is we're spending a lot of money, and our bank account is getting lower and lower and lower. On one hand, I think that's a really good social contract with our citizens, that we've got money and we're spending it to fix up a lot of capital expenses. But at the other side of this, anything that we want to add to the budget, we've got to figure out how to probably cut something else, or we're just going to be spending down our bank account much, much faster.
Right.
So I thought this would be helpful, maybe if I print this out and correct that one thing, to share with other council members, so that they understand kind of a snapshot of where our money's coming in from, and just a huge overview of where our money's going out.
Yep, because I think it's good we have money in the banks right now, but yeah, we're going to spend it down because we have so much that needs to be done.
Right.
So being thoughtful if we want to add new stuff is something that is really important. Even if it's really good stuff, we just want to, it's not like there's just unencumbered money that we can just find and put into this new thing that we really think is cool.
Right.
That money is going to be spent, maybe not this year, but next year, or the year after.
Well, and I think this also comes into play when we think about any kind of other future levies, whether we do a road levy or not. This lets us know what kind of money we have in the future to work on roads or not to work on roads, and to maybe pass a levy, maybe not pass a levy. I just think we need to be having these numbers in front of us before we keep dreaming of what could or couldn't happen in the future. I've been talking a lot. Do you have any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I'll just note, and this is something I'm particularly proud of for the city and the financial state. So I don't remember on what page it is, but one of the pages that has like general fund bonds that are listed. Mm-hmm. And, when I was first few years on council, we had one that was on there that we were paying off from like 2005, and it was like $1 million a year that we were paying for that bond. Mm-hmm. And so one thing I'm proud of, I think the citizens should be proud of, we should all be proud of, is that we have no general fund bond obligations. We have no debt that the city owes for street repaving or for anything else that comes out of the general fund. Any debt the city has is tied specifically to like TIF districts or, specifically to TIF districts where the developer, if the TIF district doesn't generate enough income to pay the bond, the developer is on the hook for it. So
that's great.
That's something is just you all can, telling your constituents can be very proud of, and that you have continued that financial stewardship, as during your all's time on council too. So, which I think is an excellent story.
Yep.
So.
I think that's what is reflected on Exhibit 6 in the
I was literally just
in the
trying to
tax.
page through. There we go.
in the tax
Bond
budget.
notes, I see
It's
that.
basically what you're saying. And so rows 12, 15, 18, 21, 23, 26 are all bond notes related to tax increment financing districts, and then the Paycor one is in there as well. And I know that I'm going to blank on his name. Andy Brosser, he might be a good person to have back at some point. I spoke with him a few weeks ago, and he talked about just some of the wins in like refinancing some of these things to lower interest rates and whatnot that have similarly benefited the city.
Yeah, one thing to note, I would say I would be curious what the terms are of now that Paycor is or isn't here, depending on the day, I guess. But the Paycor note specifically, I wasn't here. I was my first term was 2016, but I don't know exactly what the terms are of that, and just I would be. Do you know about that, Mr. Miracle? What the Paycor note, like where the fallback is on that?
No, I don't have information off the top of my head, but I could look it up.
I assume it like whatever the note is. I assume that of course the Paycor it falls back on the Paycor building, but I don't have that information right on me. But it's something I'm going to look into personally now that I see it on the tax budget, just as a curiosity. But yeah.
I have a question for you, Mr. Vonzel.
Yeah.
Is for these revenue bonds, the ones that are like 6% or 6.5%, is there any chance that we'll be able to refinance them to a lower rate of interest anytime soon?
Yeah, it's a great question. So that's where Andy Broussard is really the expert there. He's constantly watching that, because if he can refinance one of those bonds, or one of those bonds, he makes him and his firm make a decent amount of money. Not exorbitant, but there's a chunk of change there because there's a lot of work that goes into the refinance. Yep. So I know that they're watching it, but it's definitely a question for Andy if you ever want to send him an email and ask him.
Yeah, I know that there's so much fluctuation right now, especially that maybe we'd get lucky and luck into a better interest rate. So I'm glad that he's got eyes on it. I'm sure.
Yeah,
he would love to.
Yeah,
it's happened. This is not. Yeah, so
because I remember it being one of them being refinanced at some point. I remember hearing about it at least.
Yeah, Cornerstone a little bit ago that refinanced. You might have been on council. Might have been right before you got in council, but I think.
Well, no, I was going to say too, like the Rookwood one was just like a recent sort of success. That's row 23, 24. Mm-hmm. You can see the date of issues 2025. So they just went back and I won't take a stab at the numbers in terms of sort of the interest saved or other, sort of monetary benefit by that refinancing move. But that was just a recent one they did
Yeah, I remember that from the beginning of this year, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
no,
the
there's
one
so
I
much
was
that we
thinking
do.
of.
There's so much that you all do on council. In a great point that Mr. Moore, if it's okay. Yeah, thank you. So just note too, so when we do those savings and or when we refinance and we save money for the TIF districts, it doesn't change the amount of money that the developer's paying into the TIF district. So the amount of money is the same. There's different terms for each one depending on how we agreed with the schools. But a lot of times when those happen, if it was already a healthy TIF district, it means that likely towards the end, there's going to be more money. There's going to be funds available in the district. And those funds can actually be used for physical improvements or for things that benefit, that would have some impact on it doesn't have to be directly in front, it could be down the street, but like the Brookwood, for example, could be used to repave Smith Road, maybe to Williams, or it could be used for many different things. And the same thing that we're doing with Central Park, part of the funding for the pedestrian project on Montgomery Road is they're taking at least a little bit of money from the TIF district for Central Park.
Yeah, because it does ultimately benefit them for these improvements, because it's a road that goes to Central Park.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so it's good to like basically what Emily was asking about. It's good to keep asking those questions because I think that's really healthy. The less that we're paying in interest on these bonds is the more money that can be used either for the district, and then in some cases, the way we negotiate it, the school district might get a higher payment if there's more money in the TIF district. So, which we all, we're all supportive of that. So,
Good point.
Cool, good to know.
yeah, cool. Thank you.
Are there any other numbers that you think other members of council might want to see in a chart or something like that, that would help them just get a better snapshot of what we're drinking from the fire hose in our committee? If anything comes up, please feel free to hit me up so I can update this and then we can submit it with our committee report and give it to the rest of council. But I want to get Mary's look over this because I know whenever I was putting in numbers, I wanted to make sure they were accurate because I think I even have one outdated copy of the FRP. I think the most recent one, I don't have a physical copy of anymore. So I wanted her to look at it because I figured if there was somebody that could maintain the accuracy of it, it would be her.
And I do think that we have the most recent FRP detail stuff is on the spreadsheet in one of the many beautiful tabs.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think
If
she
you
put-
go
yeah.
to the left, it's like the second tab, right after instructions, there's an FRP of 2025, and I'm pretty sure this is the most recent one. You just have to keep clicking, because when I opened it, I couldn't see it. I had to keep clicking over to the left a lot.
There's a lot of tabs.
There's a lot of tabs.
Just if we're making numbers asks, I think James, this is a great document that you and Tim, and maybe it's, I just think that if there were some, kind of last year projection, actual, you know what I mean, kind of stacked line chart just to be able to see, because at the end of the day, the work that you and Tim do is, what do we just see, 86% or whatever of the budget. And so I think just at a glance, again, this is great. But this might be kind of the double click version. Whereas I'm just talking about kind of a layman's
Snapshot.
just sort of end of month, where we were in 2024, the 2025 kind of estimated, and then the 2025 actual, just to see those three things kind of stacked on top of each other, I think would make it even easier to appreciate the great work that you all are doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. I'll work with Tim on that, and we'll get something for the next finance committee meeting.
It's easy to digest whenever he's here in front of us at our regular meeting, walking us through a couple of those tabs, but I see what you're saying. That'd be helpful.
Yeah, and you've got it. It is kind of hard because you've got to look at 3 columns apart to compare year to year. So
Yeah.
you've got 24 all on one side and 25 all on one side. So I think it's a great ask, honestly. It'd probably be helpful for us too.
All right. Anything else for the finance committee?
May I ask about this? this like data.census.gov. It was an
yes.
attachment on one of the emails that Mary sent.
It's like Census Bureau snapshot.
I think
that-
she just grabbed that information off there to put it on there for your review.
Yeah, and I wasn't, yeah, I guess it felt a little bit like contextless. Like I was just kind of wasn't sure. It was like, okay, like this looks right. I wasn't sure if it was something that went out to Anna Mary or.
No, we just did that for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
I found it really interesting.
Yeah,
think it's
I
really,
printed it
really
out tonight to
interesting.
give to the rest of council.
yeah.
So I really
you
appreciate
guys don't
it.
just like go to the Census Reporter website and check all this stuff out for fun.
I honestly have in the past,
Yeah.
but not recently, not since the 2023 American Community Survey was updated on there. So
Yeah.
it was neat. It's neat to see how it's changed because I remember some of these numbers being, I seem to remember them being quite different.
And I think, Mr. Moore, we want to put that on the auditor's website too.
Okay.
That information that
Yeah.
that you're referring to.
It's just neat to have.
Well, and just the only thing that I wanted to ask, so this has no consequence, right? Like this is just purely informational.
Yes.
Okay, and just the only because there was something about like lane miles of roads, and I was like, do we
Someone
have
brought,
to, do we have to claim a number there because
Yeah.
what
was
was
brought
on
up.
this thing was
different.
different than what
yeah.
Clint
Someone
reported,
said the other night, yeah.
and that kind of it just made me wonder if Clint maybe thinks about lane miles in terms of like municipal ones versus like 562 or 71 or whatever, and like.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what the context of what Mr. Zimmerman said versus
Yeah.
what Mary.
I think that what he is saying is the number of miles that are under our direct jurisdiction, as opposed to the 71, 562, which are federal. I
Sure.
don't think he counts those. So I think
That
would
was
be
my
part
guess
of the
at why
difference.
he would have said a different number, but yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my guess. So.
Which number is higher? Do you mind me asking?
The number on this like census,
That's higher.
that's
what-
higher,
what
and then the
is it?
number that Clint verbally shared is lower. So it just made me wonder if like there was 20 miles or whatever, 20 lane miles that Clint is not responsible for that would explain the gap.
Yeah, that would be about 71 and 562
What is-
if we're doing.
What? How much? What is on the? What's?
I mean,
on
if it doesn't matter, like I
I'm just
don't,
curious. No, I'm just curious because I think it actually could have that. It actually could because if let's say Clint is underestimating or that tax, I don't know if it's on the tax budget or where it's at. I think we do have to report it. So like if it's getting underreported, that could actually affect maybe some kind of dollar distribution for road repairs. But it's an interesting question to ask. I should be consistent, or there should be a good reason why.
Yeah.
So I don't.
yeah. So it was just on that sheet that that Mary had sent. I want to say the number that she had reported, or the number that was on there. I'm not saying she reported it. The number that was on there, I want to say was 142,
And it-
and the number that Clint verbally shared the other day was 114. So
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I mean, I've seen the 140 something number on the tax budget or wherever. I've seen that before. So that's interesting. But we do, just as an FYI, we do maintain 562 ourselves pretty much,
Okay.
except for like major road repairs. But the 71, of course, thank goodness we leave that to the state.
And there's multiple lanes there, so the couple miles that it runs through Norwood.
It could be, yeah, that actually could.
Multiply
That's
that
like-
by 3 or 4 lanes.
A lot of lanes, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Something to think about. If it has any implications that we could get more money, I would love that. But if it's not, then, oh well.
Yeah.
Well, I did find that helpful, and like I said, I printed it out for other council members tonight just to see some of the stats. And like, for instance, it says that we have a 67% employment rate. I'd love to like compare that with St. Bernard. Do we have a lot of retirees or a lot of families or people just aren't working or whatever? Yeah. So now I want to go dive into the other numbers.
Yeah. Well, like Mr. Moore was saying, he like to look at the census. I like to look at other auditors' websites, and see what is out there, and see if there's anything that I can put on ours. And so I've seen those on there on other cities. So
It's interesting.
and it is sorry, just for clarity, it is on the tax budget worksheet. The Word document on page 2. That is where the 142 lane miles. It says if you're changing your current certification of lane miles, please provide this office with a copy of the new miles certified by an engineering firm used to survey the roads. So I don't know. I'm just I saw the 142 there, and I was like, that was a different number, because I had still a third number in my head from a couple of years ago of what I thought it was. I thought it was like 128. So Clint was 14 lower, this was 14 higher, and just sort of like, oh, I don't know what's true. So thanks for humoring me on that.
All right. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
Let's talk about money for the clerk of council.
No, I sent an email out this afternoon, and I was going to bring it up to Mr. Gears and Mr. Powers. He's going to be here this evening, so we have to take care of that.
For
Yes.
publishing?
Yeah,
Yes.
I figured we'd talk about it during the main council meeting.
Yeah, I sent an email to Noah and Joe, so we'll take care of
Awesome.
that this evening.
Thank you.
All right. Well, then I will call this meeting to adjournment
Thanks.
with my knuckles.